Heather, good morning.
Jason, good morning. Good morning.
Greetings. Welcome. Listener, good morning to you as well. We are Hobbit forming this year podcast. And we're going to talk about some of the book, The Hobbit, by J.R.R. Tolkien. And today we're in chapter 4.
Yes, Overhill and Underhill.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. So,
Fantastic.
Heather,
yes.
You read this chapter, or had it read
did.
to you by Mr. Andy Serkis, or both.
Yep.
And did you read beyond this chapter? Because this is a short one.
It is a short one. I did not, because, and I'll be very honest with you, I kind of last minute had to go to Miami this week and had a very challenging week at work. So I just read it this morning.
Oh, perfect.
Yes. So it is still fresh in my mind, but no, I did not go beyond.
Okay.
But I am actually wanting to go beyond and keep reading, but I have a lot of things going on this morning. So anyway.
All right. Yeah. Okay. No problem. So what, why don't we start with your synopsis here of chapter 4, since
Perfect.
you are the first time reader? Go.
Yes. So they have left the last homely house. They are on their way. They took the right road to the right path. Right away, we hear Bilbo. I said the right thing, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We hear Bilbo pining for home again. He was lamenting that summer was going on without them. In the middle, or not in the middle, but they suddenly met a giant thunderstorm, which they call the Thunder Battle. Now, we can come back to that. Let me just highlight it real quick because I needed to ask something about that. But they were in the middle of this thunderstorm, tons of rain, and they were getting soaked through. And so they sent Philly and Killy out to try to find a better shelter, and basically said there's no use to try to send Bilbo because he's essentially worthless.
Right.
Which that was really precious and cute. They ended up finding a cave that everybody could fit into, including the ponies. They went in, they explored it to make sure that everything was fine. Then there was a very ominous line. That was the last time they used the ponies and tools and paraphernalia they brought with them, and that made me feel oh no, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then you find out. Then Bilbo had some really wicked dreams, and he woke up, and it turned out that these dreams were actually happening to them. And they were getting snatched by goblins, except for Gandalf, because, it's Gandalf. Once again, he wished for his hobbit hole. The goblins were singing a tune to take them to Goblin Town, which is, I said Hobbit Town before, and you were like, that's not a thing. So I was really happy that this was Goblin Town, and it's a thing. So that made me real happy. Goblins took all their stuff. They ate the ponies.
They did.
That's that.
And Bilbo was just because goblins eat ponies.
Because goblins eat ponies. Doy. Everybody knows that. And then something about goblins not really hating dwarves, but they really don't like Thorin and Thorin's people because of the Goblin War. We met the Great Goblin, and he is, basically asking, where are you going? He kind of saying, Cotton Eye Joe to them. Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Thorin lies about what they're doing, couldn't explain the goblin sword away. They knew that it had killed hundreds of goblins. That one was called Biter. And then the Great Goblin was about to go ham on Thorin when all the lights went out. And, spoiler, it's Gandalf again.
You don't have to spoil it. We're assuming that people have read this
everybody
chapter.
has read this. Right,
yes.
My bad. I knew that it was Gandalf again. And then the goblin, or the great goblin, got murdered by the sword that appeared to be acting on its own again.
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
Yeah.
And then the sword flashed again. It was blue, and the goblins called it Beater and hated it more than Biter. And this was when like the dwarves were like, all right, it's time to go, we gotta go. Poor Bilbo.
Bilbin.
I don't know where that came from. Billy Rubin. So Bilbo had to be piggybacked because again, he's, precious and all that.
He's also smaller than the dwarves. Like
See,
hobbits
and
are a
I
little
just like,
smaller than dwarves. So like
okay,
he doesn't have as long legs, and
so
dwarves are like much have a greater endurance than the soft hobbit folk.
okay, got
So
it. Okay. He pines again for home, saying,
yeah.
"Why did I ever leave my hobbit hole?"
And Bomber's like, why did I bring you?
Yeah, exactly. Why did I leave or why did I bring a wretched little hobbit on a treasure hunt or something like that? Um, Thorin and Gandalf were able to beat back the goblins by flashing those swords for a minute or two. And then the goblins sent forward like their super quiet ninja goblins to come back and like take them, or they were
Mhm.
like goblin runners. And Dory was taken, but Dory was like carrying Bilbo. Bilbo fell off his shoulders and blacked out, and that's where it ends.
Yeah. Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger.
All right.
Um, okay, so my first question.
Uh-huh.
I may not have a lot of questions this time,
Great.
but that's okay. This is a shorter chapter. So they had that like thunder battle, and they
Right.
said that it was stone giant. They said that stone giants were out there throwing rocks at each other. So like the baseball scene in Twilight,
I've never
is
seen
that?
or read Twilight, but
How
I've
dare
heard
you?
there's a baseball scene.
Yeah, like during Thunder and Lightning, the vampires go out and they play baseball because they're so powerful that like when they like hit the ball, it sounds like it's covered by the thunder and lightning, essentially.
That's
So,
pretty dumb. That's a
you
pretty
know
dumb
what?
thing.
You know what? I am not sitting here telling you that like dwarves and hobbits are pretty dumb. So
But why
you
would
can be,
okay?
but okay, but was
Why
it
would it matter? Like, are they hitting
because
balls with like bats so hard that it actually sounds like thunder?
yes,
That's come on.
because
It's
they're so
why do they care about
powerful.
baseball?
It's like it's America's pastime,
But aren't
and they live in America.
all right.
They live in the Great
I
Pacific Northwest.
in
So,
Forks, yeah, Forks known for its baseball.
well, right. And they play like in a valley and like anyway. It reminded me of
All
that.
right.
But okay, was like the thunder and lightning, was that actually out there, or was it because of the stone giants that were out there throwing rocks at each other?
The thunder and lightning is a
Was
thing that's really
real.
happening.
Okay.
And then
And
they
it was
peep
just
out
like
and they see the stone giants throwing rocks.
mhm. Mhm.
So both of those things are happening.
Interesting.
So as we're reading this, we are suddenly introduced to stone
To
giants.
yet another
Yeah.
like fantasy people. Okay.
And in the movie for this scene, like they actually like have like stone giants like doing things.
Yeah.
And this scene in the movie, it's like it's a spectacle, right? This is an
Mhm.
opportunity to really show off our special effects prowess, right? Prowess.
Prow
Do I say camera weird? Prowess.
prowess. It's prowess, not
Prowess.
prowess. Yeah. Let me look it
Prowess.
up.
Special effects
Prowess.
prowess. And
Yeah, prowess, not
all right.
prowess.
Okay.
Anyway, it's
So they're
fine.
showing off
It
their
stands.
abilities with the special effects.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
And and so the scene is so much longer than it needs to be in these movies.
Hmm. This
Uh
was like a couple second sentences.
right.
So
It was
yeah.
exactly 2 sentences.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, they're stone giants. Well, whatever. Um
Do
yeah.
they look like the stone giants in Frozen 2?
Now, Heather, I need to tell you something.
Have you never seen
I am
Frozen
a
2
father of a
either?
daughter, And somehow I have yet to see Frozen 2.
Have you seen the first Frozen?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Many times.
Frozen 2, I realize we are not talking a lot about The Hobbit right now, dear listener. I apologize. But Frozen 2 is so good. It is so good. It's on Disney Plus. You should go watch it and
Yeah. Maybe I will not.
not do that. Yeah, I know.
I still
Okay.
haven't seen Coco. Like, I'm so far behind on so many movies.
Jason,
I know.
Coco will make you cry.
I know. They all make me cry. So
This one, though, like, we watched it right after Jeremy's grandmother had passed away. And Jeremy and I like could not look at each other because we were just bawling our eyes out the whole time. It is so good, so beautifully done, and just like the perfect class, or excuse me, the perfect movie.
yeah, I hear it's great.
Yeah.
When we went to Disneyland, we went to the little drawing studio thing, Kathy and I, as adults with no children.
Hey, as one
And
does.
the lady was like teaching us how to draw the kid, whatever his name is. Miguel. And she's telling all this stuff about the movie. And I was like, I've never seen this. And then she's saying it's like, this sounds like a really good movie that would make me cry too much. So
if you're not doing anything tonight, I highly recommend
I'm
it.
super busy.
No, you're not.
You're right.
So stop it. Watch it tonight. Anyway.
I have to read this book about Canada.
That also, like, so if you don't follow Jason on social media, he is doing a Barnes and Noble book challenge. And the challenge this week is to read a book about a place that you don't know much about, or read a book about something you don't know much about.
This week's challenge is read the National Book Award winner. Next week is Sense and Sensibility, which I finished because it's read a romance. And then I finished that already. So the third week there is read a nonfiction book about something you know nothing about.
You don't know anything about Canada?
Why would I?
Your brother-in-law is Canadian.
And he moved away to Oklahoma. He doesn't even want to know anything about Canada.
Okay.
So it's not my fault. So he went to as far away from Canada as he really can be, because Oklahoma is just the opposite, right? I don't know.
Opposite of Canada?
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, a lot of Canada seems pretty flat and Oklahoma-ish.
No.
Like there's a lot of plains and stuff.
Well, yeah, maybe in like maybe Alberta-ish
the Great Plains of Canada.
Like, okay, whatever. But BC, where he is from, is stunning. You've been to Whistler.
I've been to Canada. I know. Yeah. It's a pretty good place. It's like America's attic.
Kathleen America's hat.
Kathleen Madigan. She did a show up in Canada. It's like, there's a lot like America's attic up here. You come up here and like, oh, there's a lot of cool stuff I forgot about.
There is a lot of cool stuff in Canada. I love it. I love Canada.
Yeah. Anyway, I got to read that book. So I just learned about Vikings. Speaking of Frozen, and also speaking of Vikings, they wrote in runes, which dwarves also write. And so let's get back to the Hobbit.
Whoops. Okay.
It's all good. Okay. So the storm was happening for real, and the stone giants are happening for real.
Yes.
That's the last we're going to see the stone giants. So just FYI.
So it was just a 2-sentence.
Yeah.
And we never see from them again.
Correct.
But in the movie, it's like a 3 to 4 minute scene, or just 30 seconds. And you're like, you didn't need that.
You didn't need it at all, really. Yeah. I mean, you could just have a big storm and that's enough.
Yeah.
So. But Peter Jackson has so much money now from the original trilogy that he made. That's like, I can do whatever I want. And he's New Zealand. And that was my New Zealand accent. So
that was really bad.
Wow.
Remember Miss Andrzejewski?
Yeah.
She was from New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
She said my name Heather. Heather. Totally didn't hear it the first day of school. And she goes, Heather,
come over here.
Heather Dwoman. I was like, I'm Heather Dooman. Is that it? She goes, sounds good. And then
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing that happens like right after that is they're trying to find a better shelter, right? And they say like there's no use in sending Bilbo. At this point, are all of the dwarves just like, I'm done with this guy? Why did Gandalf like why did we have to have him?
Yes.
Okay.
No one really wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
Really. They came to his house because Gandalf said, this is where we're meeting the burglar.
Yeah.
But they trust Gandalf. He seems to know
Right.
things.
Mm-hmm.
And they need a burglar. And here's one.
Yeah.
So, but Bilbo has done nothing to prove himself really, other
No.
than kind of kill time waiting for Gandalf to show up to rescue everybody from the trolls. Right? Like
Yeah.
he didn't really do
Yeah.
anything. I'm better for cooking than cooking, right? Like he's just kind of
Right.
killing time.
I cook better than I cook.
Yeah.
So let me cook you breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to like he's not very good. And most of his adventure here is kind of stumbling forward into
Right.
what's next. And so even the next chapter, like it's a very important chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And it all just kind of happens to him. So yeah, he's
Okay.
a classic bumbler of a burglar.
Got it.
So
Got it.
yeah. So they're all kind of done with him. He doesn't really contribute. He only complains.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's like people we all know. I'm not going to name names.
Ooh. Oh,
I mean, we all know
dang,
somebody
Jason.
who like you go on a trip with somebody and they're like, oh, I got to pee. And you're like, we just left the house.
Mm-hmm. That's not complaining though. That's
well, it is because now we're all complaining. Complaining
oh,
is
got it.
contagious. You got to pee, and now I'm complaining that you didn't follow road trip rules. When there's a toilet, use it. Road trip rules.
That is road trip rule number 1.
Yeah. Even if you don't have to, even if you don't have to, you better sit down or stand there and wait for something to happen.
Yep.
So
100%.
We were driving through Oregon, and when our daughter was very young. You know my daughter, Jocelyn.
I'm familiar with her. Yeah.
We were going to Disneyland, driving to California. And she refused to use any of the rest stops in Oregon because
can't blame her.
Because they had silver toilet seats.
Yeah, because those are cold.
She didn't say anything about the temperature.
But it was because they were silver and not white.
I don't want to use a silver one. Like that's it. And now we're all complaining. So we had to go to Burger King.
Yeah. And then
which was fine.
Yeah.
I had a chicken sandwich and I was disappointed.
I'm most of the time just disappointed by Oregon in general, unless it's the Oregon coast. Like I hate driving through Oregon. It is the worst.
Is it Oregon or is it just Portland? Because the rest of Oregon is just pretty much a freeway, right? Is there more to Oregon than that?
Yes. No, I don't think that there is. And please feel free to correct us if we are wrong. But I-5 through Oregon is the worst. And so...
Yeah. But you could say like, that for most of I-5. I mean, it's really only 3 states that encompass it, right?
Right, yes.
So, I mean, there's a lot of Washington that is pretty boring.
Accurate. I think, though, it's just that, like, the biggest frustration with I-5 through Oregon is that it goes from, like, 55 to 70, maybe? Like, the speed limit. And I frequently drive much faster than that because I just want to get the crap out of Oregon.
Yeah, it's like I want to be to a land where I can pump my own gas whenever I want. But
exactly.
Now you can. Oregon passed a law. You can pump your own gas now.
You don't have to rely on... We are so far off topic. Anyway.
Did you catch my cue as I held up the book? What are we doing? Anyway.
So sorry.
What other thoughts or questions do you have? There's somebody at your door.
No, there is not.
I don't know. I can see people in the window behind you. There's just some lady. I don't know if that's your door or somebody else. She's gone.
No, she's right there still. That's I think that's our neighbor.
Okay. Sorry.
Anyway.
There's a goblin behind you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so about that.
There she is.
Oh my word. Our other neighbor put up their giant inflatable. It's a massive Christmas tree. I'll send you a picture of it.
That's all right.
Nope, I'm going to. I'm going to send you a picture of it every day until Christmas. It's your own little advent calendar. So Bilbo has these gnarly dreams about like the crack in the cave and that
Mm-hmm.
like they ended up like falling and all of that. Um, and so that ends up becoming real, right? They go to the goblin town. Um, so why he made it a point to call out that goblins don't necessarily hate dwarves, but just Thorin's people.
Right.
So like, forgive me if we read this like the reason for the start of the Goblin War, which I don't feel like we really got into that.
We
But
did
what
not.
was? Do we know what that was, or is it just dear old JRR being like, "Gonna tell you about this
You can
conflict we're
call
not
him
really
John
done yet."
Ronald Rule.
I can't. It's hard.
Okay.
Um,
That's his name.
okay. All right.
Or John, the
John. Okay.
professor.
Yes.
No,
Oh, the professor. Oh
he's the
no,
professor.
Clayton. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we have not been told anything about the Goblin War.
Okay.
There's a war that happened. That's all we need to know.
Is there anything in the Silmarillion about it?
No, maybe. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's conflict, but it's
But
not
why?
important for this story other than to say, and it's not like this, that paragraph says they did not hate dwarves, especially no more
Mhm.
than they hated everybody and everything. So they hate everything. That's
Okay.
so, and particularly the orderly and prosperous. In some parts, wicked dwarves had even made alliances with them, but they had a special grudge against Thorin's people because of the war, which you have heard mentioned. Now, you here is not us. You is probably Frodo
Oh
or.
my gosh. Good night. So Frodo probably like heard about it in Hobbit school.
Yeah, Hobbit school, history of hobbits, dwarven lores.
History of Middle Earth.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like
Got it.
people in this world have heard about the Goblin War,
Okay.
but not us. We haven't read anything about it.
No.
So
Nothing.
yeah, so that's part of just like the uh, part of the whimsy of this book is it's assuming things about the original audience that we are
Yeah.
not that.
No.
We are not the
We
original
aren't.
audience. And so we're reading things like, I don't know anything about that. Even
Yeah.
with Elrond last week, he's like, he's somebody who's like very important. And like, there's all kinds of things about him. And it's like, I don't know anything about him. You want to tell me something about him? And Tolkien's like, oh, just you wait, bro.
I got another book.
I got a whole
Um,
Silmarillion to tell you about,
yeah.
son.
Yeah. Jason sent me a picture of some information about Elrond that I did not read.
He's
But
very important.
he is, and I should go back and read it. But like my eyes were crossing trying to read it, bro. Like it was bad. So anyway, okay. So Gandalf comes in. You know, we'll wait. They were asking like again the Cotton Eye Joe thing. Where were you going?
We're going to go see our
And
cousins and our nieces and
right,
nephews.
right. But like we're not. But he can't lie, or he can't. He didn't lie very well.
He can't
He tried
tell
to
him,
lie.
we're going to go try to find our gold and fight a
Yes,
dragon.
right. Because then the goblins would be like,
We want your gold.
yeah, so we'll follow you, which they ended up doing anyway. Anyway, why did the sword flash? Like, what's this? Gandalf is such a trickster.
The sword flashes because elven blades glow blue
When they're happy.
in the presence of goblins and orcs.
Okay. Do they glow any other color in the presence of other
No.
things?
No. So it's just like a warning to us that evil is about.
Wait, though, you just said elven swords. Weren't the swords goblin made?
No.
No, that's
No.
Harry Potter. I'm sorry.
What?
Okay.
That's a totally different thing. She's a thief.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, they are elven swords.
They're elven swords made in the and used in the Goblin
in
Wars.
the Goblin War.
And
Okay,
that's why
yes.
these goblins recognized Orcrist, Foehammer,
Yes.
Biter.
Meter and Biter.
Yeah, that's why they recognize these swords because they are legendary swords. Legendary. Right. They're important.
Yes. And they glow blue.
They glow blue. Elven swords glow blue in the presence of orcs and goblins. And so Gandalf took the out of its sheath, and it started in the dark, right? His magics, he like turns off all the light, takes out
Yeah.
all the fire, and the only light you can see, sorry, I hit my microphone. The only light you can see is the glowing of the blade. That's so cool.
Oh,
It's
is
so
it?
rad.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Jason.
yeah, so he's like, and so they're like, they already are dealing with Orcrist over here,
Yeah.
and they're like, you have this sword, and then all of a sudden Glamdring shows up. What now?
Okay, wait. Orc wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Is it named like after
Jesus.
because of orcs? No, not.
Yes, it's named
Is
after
it
Jesus.
okay?
No, it's
Cool.
not named
Wow.
after Jesus. It's
I
named.
know it's not
Yeah,
named after Jesus.
yeah. So
Like
its name
Orcrist.
is where is it? Its name is Orcrist Foehammer. So the Orcrist is the like the Greek word for it, or not the Greek. The elves call it Orcrist,
Yeah.
and then it's also known as Foehammer. And so yeah, so there's because it was used against their foes, hammer,
The orcs.
the orcs and the goblins. So
Okay. All right. Okay. Um. All right. So the Goblin King. No,
the Great Goblin,
Great Goblin. Yeah, Goblin King. Same thing.
yeah.
Um. He was murdered by a sword that appeared to be acting on its own because of Gandalf's amazingness and
Well, just because he had it, it
right.
was dark.
He was the one that was doing it.
Yeah, he wasn't like Harry Pottering Levioso or whatever. He was holding it in his hand and stabbing the thing. Die, 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 like
But
that.
they couldn't see him.
Right, because it's just the
Because he
blade
used
was not
Peruvian instant darkness powder.
exactly right.
Okay.
And then like he threw some chocolate frogs at them and like, what are these?
Yeah. Right. Oh,
I love
look, I've
chocolate.
got Gandalf on my card.
And he's
I'll
like,
buy
have some of these
100 of
gross
those.
beans. I'm like, oh, it tastes like puke. My favorite.
Oh, anyway. Okay. Is there anything like super important about that fight scene that I need to
No,
know about? Okay.
no. I mean, like the fight at the end where they have Orcrist and Glamdring. That fight
Oh my
scene.
gosh. Yeah.
These swords are important.
Okay. Do you have pictures of them?
No, but the internet does. Like if you want to just look them up.
Well, I already looked up prowess, so let's look up Orcrist sword. Oh, it's got like a little like hook on it,
Sure,
like down at the bottom,
sure.
apparently. By the handle, and then what's the other one?
The handle of the sword
Glamdring?
is called a hilt,
Whatever.
not a
Um,
handle. Glamdring.
Glamdring. Okay, this one looks like a normal sword.
Yeah, but it's important because it's Gandalf's
Okay.
sword now. So
It's okay, right.
because they just got these from the trolls.
Yes.
So this is one of those things where important things happen on accident or seemingly on accident.
Like in the end, does like Gandalf know like all these things or where they are, and he's just like,
No,
I'm gonna send bumbling Bilbo.
no,
Okay.
no. Gandalf is not omniscient. He's not omnipresent. He's not even omnipotent. He's just real old.
He's just Gandalf.
He's real old.
He's seen a thing or two.
He's farmer's insurance. All right. And he's been around. He knows history. He's thousands of years old. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And so he has a way of being exactly where he needs to be when he needs to be
When
there.
he needs to be there. Okay.
And so like even in this, like somehow he got away from all these goblins, but he didn't run away. He showed up at just the right time. Like Aslan.
Which again, I've not read the
Okay.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Okay.
I cannot do two fantasy
Okay.
series at the same time. It's
Okay.
bad enough that I've brought up Twilight and Harry Potter just in this one.
That's fine. I'm not judging you that you
A
really
little
love the
bit.
baseball scene.
I don't love it.
Okay.
I just call it out. Anyway,
I have
it's
to
fine.
make a correction. I said Orcris
Okay,
was called Bowhammer. Glamdring is called Bowhammer. My bad.
my bad.
My bad.
Maybe.
So
Okay.
that's on me.
All right. So then I do remember, I didn't write down the page, but I remember that like there was after the great goblin got
Got.
got they were saying that like, okay, goblins go faster than dwarves, and these goblins knew the way better. They had made the paths themselves
Right.
and were madly angry, so that do what they could. So that do what they could, the dwarves heard the cries and howls of getting closer and closer. Oh, dang it, no, that's not it. Hold on.
Well, I'm proud that you can read. Good job.
That was a hard one to read, though.
Yeah. So that do what they could. It sounds like it's going to be a good
Yeah,
thing. It's not.
right. It's not. Um. Anyway, there was like a page, or not a page, but there was a part where it sounded like there was several hundred wild cats and wolves being roasted slowly alive together would not have compared with it. Um, which I just thought that was morbid.
Mhm.
But also, wow, what a word picture.
Yeah.
Um, and that was right before the Great Goblin got. So, but yeah. Anyway, then the goblins, like run after them, make their quiet little ninja runners
They
run
put on
after
their soft
them.
shoes so they could dance.
Do 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 do.
I'm a soft shoe.
Um, I've never soft shoed. Um, and then is there any significance of Dory? Just were they trying to get Bilbo as well? Did the goblins even really care about Bilbo, or are they just like,
Well,
we'll take what we can get?
so Dory is carrying Bilbo.
Yes.
Bilbo is writing this story.
Right. Oh,
So
right,
he's
right,
just
right.
saying like,
Gosh.
and then all of a sudden my ride was taken.
Yeah.
Right. And so then he's like, I don't remember what happened after that.
Okay. I
So
did see like the next chapter he wakes up but is like, whoa, what's going on? Um,
yeah, exactly right.
just like it.
Whoa.
Whoa. Hello. Yeah, he was. We're getting into chapter 5. That's fine. Um, so basically, I mean, this chapter is just like setting us up for the craziness that's about to happen in chapter 5.
Well, I need to temper your expectations.
Oh, it's not even crazy.
It's not crazy. It's important.
Okay.
So what happens in this next chapter
Mm-hmm.
moves the rest of Lord of the Rings forward. It has ramifications for the whole series.
Okay.
So what the way Tolkien talks about what's going to happen in the next chapter, we have no idea how important it is as we're reading it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when things come back together, Gandalf is like, interesting.
Remember back in chapter 5?
No, he doesn't say remember back in chapter 5, but he will have some suspicions about what's going
Okay.
on. And like,
So should I read chapter 5 a couple of times? Do you think?
yeah, well, you should definitely listen to it because Andy Serkis is
It's really great.
Gollum, and I sent you that video of Gollum.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. We
and
meet Gollum.
yeah,
Do we meet Gollum in
yeah,
this chapter?
yeah.
But is he like crazy at that point, or?
Gollum's been crazy for a long time. So
Okay.
yeah, it's very non-exciting but very important. So
Oh. What has it got in its pockets?
Yes. Trixie Opuses. Yeah. So it's so good. It's so good.
Okay. Okay.
Did you just read the
All right.
last, like, the end of that chapter?
No, I opened to middle-ish
Oh, okay.
of the chapter
All right.
and
Yeah.
saw Gollum talking to himself. Was he talking to himself? Well, Bilbo. But he said, I don't know where it is now, but
Yeah, it's
because
okay.
I closed it.
You'll read it and it'll be good. So something you should know about Gollum. He's also very old. And he's been,
Everybody in this book is old.
yeah, no, but very old. And he's been living in that cave
By himself.
for a very long time.
Was he a goblin at one point? Is he a
No,
goblin?
no.
Okay.
Can I tell
What
you?
is he?
Can I just tell? I'll tell you something about Gollum.
Please.
That's not his real name.
His real name is, don't tell me.
That's not his real name.
No. Gollum is also, I know this. I don't know it.
It
I
rhymes with
can't remember.
eagle.
Smeagol.
Smeagol. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So his original name is Smeagol.
Okay.
And he comes from a people who were more like hobbits.
But he's like
But he's
a
been in,
wiry
yes, his life has been prolonged through
magic,
mysterious things.
curses.
No, well, I mean, it's a curse.
Ah,
But there's something that he has that is
a ring.
important. Yes.
He
Yeah.
has a ring.
Well, yeah. So you're going to read that early on in this next chapter. Bilbo finds a ring.
It's the One Ring. It's the
What?
like.
What?
But why
What?
is that? Why is that introduced to us so? But
So
isn't the ring like bad?
what?
We talked about this last week, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah, the ring's a big deal. The ring's a very big deal.
Oh my gosh.
And
Okay.
and how it comes about is presented in such a way where it's like, this isn't that big a deal. Just some
But
kind
it
of
is.
magic ring.
Yeah.
Bilbo has no idea what he's messing with. And so
It's like a Horcrux.
kind of in a way, yeah. He has no idea where it came from, what it's all about.
Yeah.
He just knows he found it. And Gollum had it for a long time. And before
And
that,
Bilbo takes it.
yeah, Bilbo will take yeah. Because this is not even the middle of the book. So Bilbo can't die. And there's more books. So he's going to live. So don't worry. But he has to get out of this cave. And so he sets up this little thing, this little game with Gollum to, like, he's like, if I can give
Wait,
you a riddle.
are
Yeah.
you telling chapter 5 already?
I'm trying to give you an understanding of what's about to happen because it's so important.
Okay.
So, like, there's a game that is played, and it's like, if I win, then you let me go.
Okay.
So, like, that's what's happening. So he's trapped, he's alone, and there's this mysterious, gangly monster, and he doesn't know anything about this thing other than his name is.
Yeah.
It calls itself It says Gollum a lot. Bilbo has no idea that there's a person named Smeagol. He doesn't know anything about this. It's just this all just happens to him. All of this stuff that I revealed to you is in the Fellowship of the Ring, like in the next book. Like Gandalf shows up and he
Okay.
tells this to Frodo. So,
Oh my lord.
yeah.
Okay. But if Bilbo was writing this and giving it to Frodo, wouldn't Frodo have known about this?
Frodo will know about the ring and how Bilbo got it, but Bilbo does not know what the ring is.
No, but I'm saying, okay. Now Bilbo, at this moment, Bilbo does not know what the ring is. But wouldn't Frodo know that like the ring is bad. No?
No.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So wait, but Gollum was a hobbit? Is that what you
He
said?
was Hobbit-like
He was hobbit-like. So he used to be hairy and like, but because he's been living on his own and
in a
in a
cave.
cave,
Yeah.
he's turned into like an axolotl.
Yeah. Yeah. He's an
Okay.
axolotl from Minecraft.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, reader,
Got
if
it.
you're reading The Hobbit for the first time, just picture that, just like a 8-bit axolotl.
Yeah.
So it'll
With
look
like
great
random little hairs,
with
like Homer
really great
Simpson hairs.
music as you're digging around. I love the Minecraft music.
I don't think I've ever actually listened to it.
Oh man,
Hendrix, my son, talks about Minecraft all of the time, and I'm just like, oh,
does he play it?
at school, I guess, or not at
Oh
school, at a friend's house.
yeah, the music is amazing, and it just comes on every once in a while, and you'll be like reading while your kid's playing it, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and take a nap.
Nice. Yeah.
It's the most
Um,
relaxing music.
remember how at the beginning of this we're like, yeah, there's not a lot to talk about?
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, listener, watcher, person. I'm sorry. I can talk about
Sorry.
this all
Lo
day.
siento. Lo
It's
siento.
Yeah. So anyway, so we'll talk more about this chapter next week. So
Okay.
we should probably wrap it up here
Fantastic.
then.
Yeah.
Listener,
Sounds
thank
like a
you
plan.
for enduring this. And if you have questions or comments, please send us an email,
Yep.
hobbitforming@gmail.com, or follow along with us at social media and all that kind of stuff. Hobbit
Yep.
Forming Pod on Instagram. And yeah, I guess that's everything, right, Heather?
Your YouTube as well.
YouTube. Yeah, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and you can stay up to date there and see other stuff that I put on YouTube. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's old videos
Fantastic.
of my kids. Those are fun.
Is the video of you of like Jocelyn arguing about Batman Can Fly? Is that on there?
Oh yeah, it's on there. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
one of
love
my
that
top
one.
viewed videos.
I
Uh,
love that one.
it's a classic. So
So
all right,
good.
yeah.
All right,
Well, Heather, good
Jason,
morning.
good morning.